I grabbed a coat and a pair of tennis shoes thinking it was just a small, quick thing, just like the dorms, and we'd be back in bed in 30 minutes. And we opened the door and made a run for it, and we went out our front door and down the stairs, and by the time we had hit the parking lot, the stairs had collapsed. And then it was just kind of that moment of, okay, what next? And you could tell that there wasn't going to be anything to go back in for, and that you weren't going to be getting back to bed anytime soon. So it was just kind of that, there wasn't even a thought process really, it was just kind of a numbness.
Not even halfway into our initial conversation, which was very early morning, we had a call come in from one of the students who was a victim of the fire, who had lost everything, and his first concern was, what am I going to do about my classes? And at that point, we just looked at each other and I said, I'm gone. And I just immediately headed down the street to the site and basically remained on site for 4 days.
The Red Cross showed up shortly thereafter, and they were there taking names and getting vouchers out to everybody. It was one of those moments where you suddenly realize you don't even have a toothbrush. So it was very nice to be able to just go into the store and get what you needed. And it didn't matter that I didn't have a wallet, I didn't have an ID, because everything was in my apartment. I had no money, but they were there with those vouchers, so we were able to go take care of things we needed to get.
They would service one of the students and provide them with funds to help them get back up on their feet. And then they'd turn them over to me, and I'd work with them from the university side. Just to be able to sit down and talk with someone who really was focusing on them as an individual person and really understanding what had happened, because that's something the Red Cross does so well. The volunteers relate to the person. What happened? How are you doing? What do you need? What can we do to help you? And I think in a time of crisis, that's what someone needs to hear. They need to know that there's someone there who wants to help them and who can be there for them right now, and who also can link them to other resources at a later time.
You never think it's going to happen to you. I mean, you hear about things like this and you never think that you will be the one who doesn't have a house anymore, who doesn't have any clothes, who doesn't have a wallet. It means a lot that somebody who doesn't know you is willing to get up at 4 a.m. and show up and try to help you. I think the important thing to think about is you never know who it's going to help. It could help the person that's sitting next to you at the table. It could help you in 5 years. You just never know. So for you to be able to give now while you can is important, because it may be something that's going to come back to you in 10 years. You may be the one standing outside your house as it burns down.
The capacity to be able to be there like that is what really amazes me. And now that I do it myself, when that telephone rings at 2 o'clock in the morning and I'm sound asleep and I think about it, I say, oh, another night of lost sleep. But as soon as I get here to the chapter and I load up everything into the diesel and I'm on my way, I know I'm doing very important work. And as soon as you get on site and you're there with the clients while the firefighters are in the background, it just is so fulfilling to know that what you're doing makes a difference in the lives of those people, and those people acknowledge to all of us that without the Red Cross, they don't know what they would have done.
My dad and mom were both associated with the Red Cross back when I was very, very young. Dad was an instructor of first aid, and mom used to train Red Cross nurse aides. They've always had an association with the Red Cross and a great respect for the Red Cross as an organization. I became an instructor, like I said, about 25 years ago. Over time, discovered that as I taught, I kind of enjoyed doing it. It's just kind of evolved. The services that we provide for disaster services, for blood services, service to the military, all of those things that we have to do and want to do don't make us any money. We have no way to gain anything monetarily from providing those services. As a matter of fact, a good portion of that is algo, and it's the health and safety classes, for a large part, that make up the income to allow us to provide the other services to the community. At the same time, we're making the money to provide those services. We're also training people in how to save lives. Very, very really how to train people to save lives. Anybody can learn to use an AED. Anybody can learn to do CPR. And the more people there are that walk around the earth that know how to do those things, the more likelihood there is that if somebody needs them, there'll be somebody there who knows how. But I hear stories from people all the time. And I like to think that at least somebody that I've trained over that 25-year period has been able to use it to save a life somewhere. And I suspect strongly that that's the case. Red Cross is a wonderful organization, and I fully believe in the things that we do. I've never had any tragedies in my life or anything like this that the Red Cross has had to come out and help with, but I've been associated with, well, even further back, my mom and dad have always been people who were firm believers in giving back to the community, in service to other people in one way or another. And I have always felt that way as well. And so, you know, whatever I could do, when I could do it, that's what I've tried to do. And I see this as the ultimate community service.